Don't settle for bad socks. Get comfort and grip at an affordable price with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Choose from 18 different colors at puregripsocks.com.
In no particular order, here are the top 5 must-try football boots of 2024. And what I mean by that is these are 5 boots that provide a very unique experience in the most positive way possible if you're looking to get away from the usual suspects. With almost all of these boots being available below their normal retail prices by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the links down below. And as always, if you enjoy this type of content on the channel, don't forget to drop a like on the video and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already so you don't miss out on my reviews of all the latest football boots of 2024. The Puma Ultra 5 Carbon is a much greater technical achievement than I think a lot of people are giving it credit for. Granted, it's very expensive at $300. But the fact that we're getting a carbon fiber sole plate in 2024 at $110 less than what Nike was charging for a similar but far inferior technology all the way back in 2010 is pretty incredible. Unlike the carbon fiber sole plates we've seen from Nike in the past and even Puma themselves, this is the most functional we've ever seen carbon fiber in the sense that it actually has the structural integrity that gives you that spring back effect that has become such a big trend in the world of high-end race running shoes as well as sprinter spikes. They have a distinctly different feel than any other football boot that I've ever had on my feet, where if you like that really rigid, stiff, responsive feel from your sole plate, nothing even comes close to the Ultra 5 Carbon in terms of giving you that feel while also being as close to the ground as you are. Pair that up with an incredibly aggressive stud pattern, making for really aggressive traction when pushing off in pretty much any direction, as well as a hugely improved upper in terms of feel, fit, as well as overall comfort compared to past Puma Ultra models, and you have a recipe for what really does feel like one of the fastest football boots currently on the market. The only downside being that despite the carbon fiber sole plate, which is typically associated with being as light as possible, these aren't quite as light as some of the other speed boots on the market. With that in mind, they're not heavy enough to weigh you down, and it does not take away from how fast these football boots feel. The Adidas Predator 24 Elite FT is easily the most hyped up football boot in this video that you didn't need me to tell you that you need to try them. The nostalgia factor of the fold over tongue held down by the elastic strap not only gives this that classic Adidas Predator look, but the feel and experience of this boot really does blend all of those old school Predator characteristics in a package that still feels lightweight, modern, and aggressive. This is for $280, obviously not a cheap pair of football boots, and you could actually get the exact same performance from the non-FT Elite version at $260, but obviously that's not going to give you that fold over tongue, which is something that I think a lot of people really like. And when you're talking about the overall experience of playing in a football boot like this, I do think the tongue does arguably make them that much more enjoyable. Not better, but certainly cooler. If you miss the days of power boots and really want that kind of punchy feel with tons of extra grip when shooting, there really isn't much else quite like the Predator 24, with the Elite FT model and its fold over tongue definitely being the most desirable of the bunch. By now, you've definitely heard of the Sokito Scudetta, and they've done a really good job from a marketing perspective in terms of getting these on the feet of just about everybody, and almost everyone has had positive things to say, and rightfully so. With that in mind, these are probably not going to go down in history as a top 5 all-time speed boot. However, in 2024, they do offer a very unique overall package for a new brand. The overall performance, fit, feel, and refinement is well above average for what we've come to expect even from the big brands, and they're available at a price point that is significantly lower than all of the most popular speed boot options, coming in at $200. $200. Like I talked about in my review, the fit and overall comfort is as good as anything. The overall feel and performance characteristics of the upper remind me a lot of the 2014 F50 Adizero, which I think a lot of people really enjoyed, with a stud pattern that is aggressive as you'd expect from a pair of top-end speed boots. If you're looking to try something different, or you just want top performance at a lower price tag than what you would typically pay from Nike or Adidas, the Soquito Scudetta at $200 is just amazing value for money, and more importantly, an amazing pair of football boots. If you've watched this channel for a little while now, then you probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of laceless football boots, particularly in the speed category where lockdown and responsiveness is such a priority in terms of delivering those feel characteristics that are so important to a boot in the speed category. And as much as I think these would be better if they had a lacing system, the Adidas F50 Plus is undeniably such a cool pair of football boots to play in. For being a pair of laceless boots, it's definitely one of the better fitting ones that Adidas have ever put out, where as long as you have the right foot shape for them, which you won't really know until you have them on your feet, the lockdown comfort and overall responsiveness is actually pretty good. At least that was my experience, but it's really what's happening with the sole plate here that makes the F50 Plus such a special experience, and that is the Light Strike Pro inserts that you have in the forefoot paired up with a double sole plate construction, where there's a sole plate that sits above the foam and a sole plate that runs underneath where the studs attach, creating this really stiff but super responsive sensation through the forefoot with an elevated design that really puts you on your toes unlike anything else I think I've ever tried in a pair of football boots. It'll be very interesting to see how Adidas evolves this technology with future models, because for a first go at something so extreme, I think they've done an excellent job. Obviously, personal preference plays a big part in this, but I really do think that the Puma Ultra 5 Ultimate is the best overall speed boot of 2024, with the obvious main difference from the carbon model being the plastic sole plate, which when compared to that carbon plate is significantly more flexible, but definitely still responsive, which in turn makes these feel a lot more like most speed boots would, and I would also argue a lot more comfortable, just in terms of the boot being able to bend with your foot a little bit more naturally. I'm not saying that it's going to be better for everybody, and again, if you like that stiffer, more responsive feel underfoot, definitely go for the carbon model, but in terms of what's more mainstream in terms of familiarity, I think this plastic one would be my choice out of the two, and that seems to be on par with what a lot of pros who are wearing the Puma Ultras seem to go for as well, the plastic over the carbon. You still get that super aggressive FG stud pattern, and like I talked about with the Ultra 5 Carbon, you get the exact same upper, which is hugely improved over past Ultra models, and also features a really grippy finish on the surface of the upper, which it hasn't been talked about very much because it's been such a big part of the marketing for the new generation of Nike Mercurials, but there's an argument to be made that the finish on this upper is every bit as grippy as the new Nike Grip feature of the Vapor 16 and Superfly 10, but unlike those Mercurial models, which start at $260, the Ultra 5 Ultimate retails for $230, making it less expensive than the Mercs, but arguably every bit as good, if not better. The last couple generations of Puma Ultras have been some of the worst speed boots on the market, but this latest generation is arguably one of the best.